Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissach. Thank you so much for joining us, and always glad to have with us representatives who take care of us. State Senator Mike Feasy, thank you and welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
And so one of those things that you have been working really hard on is making sure that people are getting the help that they need. And I know that y'all had one of these little expos that you did in Terrebonne Parish. Y'all got another one coming up in Lafourche.
Yeah, we got one coming up actually Saturday. It'll be this Saturday in the LaRue's Civic Center.
Okay, let's put that information up on the screen so we can let people know what's going on and what they can expect. So we're going to have this expo for the survivors of Hurricane Ida. It's going to be an informational expo. It's going to be from 9:30 to 1:30, so that's a 4-hour block that they're going to be able to kind of provide things for you. Again, as Senator Mike mentioned, it will be at the LaRose Civic Center. That's at 307 East 5th Street in LaRose, Louisiana. And let's talk a little bit about some of the things that y'all will be sharing or information y'all will put out.
Well, what I want to express is that if you get there early at the 9:30 point, we will have the Commissioner Jim Donlin speaking, and then someone from FEMA and SBA. So we didn't push that too hard this past Saturday, the 2 Saturdays ago. So a lot of people just sort of trickle it in from 9:30 to 1:30. But if you want to hear them speak and what they have to say, it would be best you be there for 9:30.
Yeah, and so, and quite frankly, you want to get there early, but there's a number of people, representatives will be coming from the Department of Insurance. Again, Louisiana Commissioner of Insurance, Jim Donlin, and some other elected officials. But to be able to have Jim Donlin be able to come down, I mean, that's a big deal.
Well, we've gotten pretty close since I've become senator, and he knows that, we're just trying to take care of the people, and he's very, about coming and help and getting things explained.
So he's engaged in making sure that people get that
yeah.
information. And so, again, we'll have Attorney General Jeff Landry, a representative from their office.
Right.
And state sheltering program, they'll be able to talk about that a little bit.
Talk about getting the units out, how quickly we can, and if they've had any problems, like if they've come out to your site and you hadn't heard from them, you can get all those questions answered and give you some good pointers on what next.
Right, and because it's a process, and I don't think people realize how much effort had to be made. Tanner McGee was sharing with us about all of the efforts that were made that transitioning from what FEMA housing for storms is normally like, and really sequestering the state to be able to step up to do that, to be able to provide those things. There's a lot of effort that went into that.
A lot of moving parts.
It's a really much better way to say that.
And the whole thing about it is getting those moving parts to work just right is where we're trying to come in and say, look, maybe we can do this a little faster because of this or whatever it may be. So that's why we like the people to come in and tell us their problems and what's going on, and that way we can help correct them.
Yeah, and that was something that you guys learned a couple of weeks ago with some of the people from Terrebonne about what their needs were, and y'all were able to address that. Right. But it's also important to let people know that you don't have to be from Lafourche to go to this.
No, you can be from all around any damaged area, throughout the state. I mean, if you want to make a trip down, we're here to help.
Right. And FEMA representatives will be there. And I also want to mention from a personal standpoint, the SBA process, they've made very easy. The application process has been made very easy to help people that need additional funding and this low interest loan, this SBA loan.
And the biggest thing about the SBA is, just what we've been going through with people not even knowing how much their insurance is going to pay. So they don't know if they're upside down and they need to make that SBA loan. So it's important to go in there and get that information. And even if in case you do need the loan or don't need the loan, at least you know how it works.
Yeah, and listen, I'm one of those people. I am one of those people that I have no idea what my insurance will or won't pay. There's a whole lot of expenses that are coming out, not a whole lot of money coming in. And that's why that's important for people to know.
And that was one of the reasons I wanted to put these expos on, because so many people didn't have any answers, and that way hopefully we can get as many answers for all the questions as possible and get everybody going in the right direction.
And one of those things is y'all spent a lot of time yesterday, some 5 or 6 hours working on some insurance decisions. Give us a brief update on that, if you don't mind.
Basically, we had everybody that came in and gave testimony. We had Jim Donlin in explaining about all the different. Actually, I think Jim was on there almost 2 hours answering questions. So it was very helpful in a lot of ways. We had even people from Lake Charles come in and testify that still hadn't got their claim settled in almost 15 months. And so it's heartbreaking to hear those stories, and we just want to try to figure it out and get everybody the help that they need and get them back going to the normal lifestyle.
Yeah, and we've been talking about that. We want to make sure we learned from Katrina. We want to make sure we learned from Laura, and we want to make sure that we can recover from Ida. And y'all are working hard with that.
Yep. But it's just like I said, a lot of moving parts, and as bad as the storm was, I've seen things that you just hadn't seen before. Being in construction for 40 years now, I saw stuff that it's unbelievable. The damage.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I want to put that information up about the Expo one more time. Again, that Information Expo, Saturday, December the 4th, 9:30 to 1:30. And if you want to get information from our local leaders and from state leaders, come at 9:30. And so really good information. LaRose Civic Center, Department of Insurance, Attorney General Jeff Landry's office will be represented, State Sheltering Program, FEMA, SBA, and of course, being put on by Senator Mike Feasy. I'm really, really glad that he's able to do that for us. And it's for the survivors of Hurricane Ida. And I'm glad it's written that way because we're all trying to survive. And this is an expo that's going to be able to do it. Big Mike, thanks for coming on and setting this up.
I appreciate the time and getting the word out.
Absolutely. We'll do that. All right, guys. That'll do it for this segment of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. A lot more local programming when we continue.